Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening, everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Pascal Show. We got some things we have got to get into here. There is some stuff that's going on right now as we speak. It is breaking news, breaking news. I guess today's theme song is planes. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but something is up, okay? So something is going on out in Louisville, Kentucky, okay? And I know that there's some other things going on in Brussels at a Brussels airport. So there's just a lot going on, okay? I don't know what's going on. This is not the time, I think, to be flying when there's so much political issues going on. I'm just going to be real. Have mercy, okay? But we got to get into this. So do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, please do me that solid and follow. Of course, hit that reaction button. All right. Subscribe here on my YouTube channel. Go and check out Pascal Show clips and Pascal Raw. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. Go over and check out on this main channel. Become a member, okay? Hit that membership down below. Join, become a member of the family. Check out my Patreon, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. All right? PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, okay? All right, guys, we got to get into this. And I'm trying to assess everything that I can with this whole situation because, of course, there are things that are going on in Brussels, but then there are things going on here in America as well, in Louisville, Kentucky, where what they believe is a UPS Airlines cargo plane went down and crashed. Now they're saying multiple people have been injured. This is right outside the Muhammad Ali International Airport in Louisville, Kentucky. Okay. So we're going to be taking a look at that here in just a minute. Like I said, there's just so much going on today. You got elections going on today, which we will be keeping an eye on that. And, of course, we might be doing a live discussion about the end results when the time is right, when we find out what the results are in New York. So I am keeping an eye on that for sure. And then, of course, there's just been all kinds of just crazy stuff going on. There was a boom threat that we just talked about just a little bit ago. And now we are looking at a situation where there was a plane that actually went down. And this is the worst time for any of this stuff to go down. Let me just be real. This is the worst time. Remember, we have a government shutdown going on right now. We have a government shutdown going on right now. Could this be a result of that? Could these people, this pilot or these pilots and whoever else was on this cargo plane, could they have lost their lives because of lack of air traffic controllers? Or was it something mechanical? Now, let me tell you something. This is not something that the government needs to have on their hands. So hopefully we find out something here soon. Hopefully it was something, that sounds so jacked up to even say that out loud. Hopefully it was something mechanical. But at the same time, come on, y'all. This is absolutely insane. So let's get into this. We got some reports. Like I said, plane crash near airport. Let's get into this nitty gritty, y'all. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Let's rock and roll. This is crazy.
A major one underway as they have also issued a shelter-in-place order that came out at 5:39 this evening, 5 miles around the airport in all direction.
Right. And again,
hold on real quick. They also said a shelter-in-place has been ordered in a 5 mile radius. So I'm curious, why? Why do they need to do a shelter in place? That's a little weird, right?
Lots of folks just trying to figure out what we have here, obviously, and as they're driving by, a scary situation for them, people at the airport, lots of folks talking on social media about just seeing the smoke. And certainly, as you mentioned, not anything that we are used to at Louisville International. So a very scary situation for folks out there tonight. And as it becomes darker tonight, it is just something that, you know, I wish we could have a little bit later sunset for those emergency crews that are headed out there right now, because they are going to have a big job ahead of them tonight.
On such a clear day, you have many people seeing the smoke from all over Kentuckiana. Again, at this moment, what we don't know is the type of plane, the name of the airline involved in here. We do have injuries confirmed from Louisville Metro Police, and again, the focus of their effort right now is Fern.
You're watching live coverage of this plane crash from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm James Brierton. This is Live Impact News from WCNC Plus. We'll get back out to our colleagues there at WHAS in just a moment. We want to show you this shot that's also becoming available to us right now. It's a little bit closer to the airport. This is the Worldport operated by UPS, the freight shipper. And this particular camera angle that is available to us is a little bit closer to the scene that is unfolding here. We can see all that smoke. I'm going to ask Jeb, our producer, to cut us back over to WHAS. They have a reporter giving an update right now. Let's take a listen.
We are in a shelter-in-place within a 5-mile radius. We're on top of the parking garage of the Louisville airport. This is exactly what we're looking at right here. A large plume of smoke that looks to be on the south side of the airport and the tarmac as well. This plume of smoke, it's moving fast. I mean, we saw it from downtown Louisville all the way up to this point of being at the airport. It's starting to dissipate as it's heading towards north, towards, it looks like, downtown or possibly East Louisville as well. We have a full moon too, and we can see that moon is actually kind of being covered up from time to time on this large plume of smoke. But so far, it's not looking to let up at all. Things are starting to look a little fuzzy out here. That's why we ended up putting on these masks, just to make sure that we're being safe as well. As far as traffic in the area, I'm not seeing any cars really drive around the airport right now, but I do see other people out on the railings also taking a look at what is happening here. And of course, we are still waiting for those details from officials. We do know that there are injuries that have been confirmed. There is debris in that area, and that you're being asked to stay away from it as well. Again, within a 5-mile radius, just like my partner who lives nearby here, please go inside, shelter in place. We still don't know. There's a lot of questions on what exactly is this explosion? Why are we having to shelter in place? What's in the air right now? So please take those precautions. But Doug and Connie, this is, again, what we are seeing out here, and we're still waiting on those updates from officials.
Dang.
You've been in the area,
this is nuts.
and when you were driving there, has the form of that smoke changed, in your opinion, at all, or is it still about the same since you've been on the scene for several minutes?
Doug, I will say, we'll take it back to this. It has not changed much at all. Again, it kind of looks like what I was already seeing from downtown on the drive to 65 South all the way to the airport. This seems to continue to expand. I am not seeing this turn down at all in regards to the smoke here. We did hear some ambulances in the area, some other first responders, and those sirens, but there's no movement here at the airport at all. This does not seem to be letting up anytime soon. Doug?
Jose, it's Connie here. Asking, what was it like getting there as far as traffic? Were cars stopped at all? Were emergency vehicles all trying to get over there? What were you able to see? Take our viewers with you there.
Yeah, Connie. So what we were able to see, there was some traffic on 65. It started clearing out as the closer we got to the airport, but I did see several crashes. Now, were those crashes associated to seeing what was happening in the sky? That, of course, we cannot confirm at this moment, but there were several crashes. It looked like they were waiting for first responders themselves, but it was pretty clear once we were getting closer to the airport, again, north of the airport into the parking garage. But again, if you're driving, of course, make sure you're paying attention to the road. I know this is a big visual thing that people are seeing across the city right now. But yeah, in regards to traffic, we didn't see too much congestion, but of course, just be safe out there. Connie?
As folks are tuning in, they're seeing you with the mask on. What is the air like out there with all that smoke right now, Jose?
Connie, I can definitely tell you it smells different out here. I mean, take another look, y'all. This is what's in the air. It's feeling a little foggy, especially towards the tarmac. There is no movement on the tarmac, but I do see some smoke on the lower levels. The smoke is in the air on top of us, and it smells just like something's burning.
This is some very, this is some very dark smoke. And it's massive. And this feels like, sorry for the thought in my head, but it's like they're like shelter in place, 5 mile radius, blah, blah, blah. Right. Then you see this big plume, this black smoke coming out of this whole thing. Right. And of course, there's other spots that I'm going to show you guys too, because there's other spots like other shots here I'm going to show you here in a second. But why does it feel like when they say shelter in place and then this crash happens like this, why does it feel like the start of like some alien invasion movie? You know what I'm saying? Like they were carrying some very, toxic type of chemicals or something like that. Or, you know what I mean? It just seems very strange that they would say, hey, shelter in place, everybody. Why shelter in place? Well, this might be the reason why. Hold on. Because we need to take a look at this other aerial shot that I got here. It's crazy. Don't worry. We're going to be bouncing back to that for sure. But I want you guys to see this too, just so you can see how bad it is. And this, because that was earlier. All right. That was just a little bit earlier. Okay. And the sun has gone down pretty quickly. All right. But you can see for yourself how bad this is. Wow. This is crazy. This is crazy. Look. Now it's, man, that is terrifying. Are those tanks down there? Do you see those down here? I mean, are those like actual tanks? Like, did they crash into possible gas or like, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm going to continue, but like, dear Lord, I mean, it could be anything, but it is pretty insane that they crashed right here. And then you also got to remember, this is a residential area. It looks like a little bit, you got houses over there. It looks like some businesses as well. So, oh my Lord.
Switch over to F1, please.
What? I got another piece of footage that is going to blow your mind. That cannot be real. Oh my God. That cannot be. Okay.
Can you change over to F1, please?
Oh my God. I don't know if I could show that to y'all. Okay. I promise you guys we're going to come back to this, but we need to see the actual footage of this actual crash. This thing, this plane, it looks like this plane wasn't really like they were, I guess it was during takeoff. It looks like, I mean, I only saw 2 seconds of it, honestly. But my Lord, what I saw, this is insane. It looks like it may have been from taking off. I don't know, but we are going to take a look at this. anybody who is faint of heart, I guess, who doesn't like looking at this kind of stuff, you have been forewarned. Okay. Man, this is crazy. I don't know if this is taking off like they were trying to take off or if they were trying to land. That's kind of what they're looking at. Okay. Messi, thank you so much for sending this to me. All right. So let's take it. Let's play this really quick. This is insane.
Bro, get the fuck away from here. Like, turn around. Bro, no, hold on. I think it's gonna crash, bro. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Damn, they're dead. They are dead, bro.
Holy-ish indeed. That is insane. So they were trying to take off. But not, I mean, yeah, it's a failed takeoff for show. But the plane was on fire, y'all. The plane was on fire while it was trying to take off. And I don't know. Like that's insane. I killed the sound, okay, but you could see it for yourself. It was trying to take off. Oh my God. That is insane. That is insane. Oh my God. That is insane, y'all. That's the real deal, Holyfield. Oh my dear God. Oh my. Yeah, give me a second, guys, because this is crazy. I mean, I don't know if the plane was like taken over, if you get what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know all about that. All I know is that was insane. And of course, hopefully we'll find out more information. But isn't that interesting that yesterday was a boom boom threat, fake. Today was another boom boom threat on a plane, 2 of them. Okay, you had Frontier Airlines yesterday. You had United Airlines today, and then now a UPS cargo plane does this. Insane. This is insane. And what's crazy about this too? I mean, I'm going to mute this really quick, but you know what's insane about this? What's so insane about this is that it is right by, like, planes land and take off from that actual runway. And that runway is that close to businesses and residential areas. As they start to pan out, you could see for yourself. There are homes, there are businesses, all in that area. Why are these businesses so darn close and homes so darn close to this runway? But this is insane. Sure, planes crash all the time, or there's planes do crash. At least as of lately, planes have been crashing. Okay, as of late, planes have been crashing. All right, but this is insane. Okay, ain't nobody trying to put blame on anybody, but I do want to know: could this be a result? Is this air traffic control Is this a air traffic control situation? Is this? Or was it, because it looks like it was just a malfunction. Something going on with the plane. Mechanical. Right? Let me play this.
Which is, I guess, imaginable when you think of the yes, I can. Well, again, the first responders is massive. They're in numbers, which is, I guess, imaginable when you think of the scale of this accident here. what's just blowing my mind away is just the amount of flames, continued flames from this accident, and the amount of black smoke from this Jet A fuel that's burning, the debris field. But there are still massive amounts of first responders coming to this area from every angle.
Lord.
Right now I'm flying right over the top of Outer Loop, and I see I don't know, multiple fire engines that must be responding from.
What even more insane is that if Ginobili is correct with that, it was carrying fuel to Hawaii. So yeah, it literally was a firebomb. Literally. Oh my Lord. So that's why the explosion was so massive, right? Because it was carrying its own accelerant. If what Ginobili said is true, that's insane. But let me look some things up, because like I said, this is all breaking news. Okay, guys, this is all breaking news like a mug. Okay, this is insane. So let me get some of this stuff going here as we continue to proceed. Breaking news, guys. And we do not know the fatality, if there was how many other people, etc. And this is, if they say 4, like Jacqueline just said, Jacqueline. No, I'm just kidding. Jacqueline just said that there were 4 passengers heading on that plane heading to Hawaii. Now, if that's actually true, let's not forget all the people that were possibly at work, leaving work, pedestrians that were just walking down the street that this plane just landed on top of. Let's not forget that too. Okay. Because you saw how massive the devastation is that it left behind, right? There's a fiery trail leading to the spot where it stopped, right? Yeah. It looked like the wing was on fire. Absolutely. Okay. But give me a second here, guys, because I'm getting a few things. Let me just unmute this, hear what they got to say, if they say anything else. But this is massive. They need all hands on deck with this one. This is massive. Oh my Lord. All right, hold on, guys. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. We got more footage. Oh my Lord. We got more footage. Okay, we're going to pause this, but as you guys can see, that's a lot. We're going to pause right there. Don't worry. We're coming back to this. I promise. Okay. We're coming right back to this. Just a quick reminder, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Please and thank you. This is all breaking news. We got some new footage, some other angles and all that. We're going to get into all that here. Please hit that like button down below. Please and thank you. Can we get this one past? Can we get it to 1K? I know that might be a lot to ask, but if you can, that'll be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done it yet, but it helps get the word out there, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to know about this crash and what's going on. Okay, so this is breaking news, guys. Breaking news. We got some more footage to take a look at. So let me pull this up for you guys so you guys can see this for yourselves. This is, oh my God. This is another angle of the actual plane exploding, right? I want you guys to see this too. Take a look at this.
¡Oh my God! ¡Corre para atrás, papi! ¿Viste? Te lo estoy diciendo, Dios mío.
¡Ay, pinga!
¡Ay, Dios mío!
¡Pero qué pinga! Vamos a ver.
Papi, cuidado.
Espérate.
¡Ay, Dios mío, señor!
Pinga,
¡Ay!
¡Cojones!
¡Mira la cantidad de gente cogiendo candela, papi!
No, pinga.
I mean,
¡Oh my God!
Now I get why. I'm fully getting why they're saying shelter in place and stay out of the area because of all those fumes. That's specifically why they're saying within a 5-mile radius, get as far away from this as possible. Because if this plane was carrying fuel, okay, gas, fuel, whatever, flying that to Hawaii, this would make a whole lot of sense on why they said, hey, guys, back up, right? Back all the way up. So pretty insane stuff, guys. But there's more. Hold on. This is crazy. So we got some more information about where it was supposed to be going. So it was departing at 3 p.m. and then they were flying to Honolulu. And yes, this was a UPS airline. This is bad. So this plane looked like this. Crazy, right? Oh, so Medallion just said it was allegedly carrying 25,000 gallons of fuel. Damn! That's all I can say. Damn! That's a lot. Okay? Crazy. Let's show that one more time.
¡Oh my God!
¡Ay, pinga!
¡Corre para atrás, papi! ¿Viste? Te lo estoy diciendo, Dios mío.
¡Ay, pinga!
¡Ay, Dios mío!
¡Pero qué pinga! Vamos a ver.
Papi, cuidado.
Espérate.
¡Ay, Dios mío, señor!
Pinga,
¡Ay!
¡Cojones!
¡Mira la cantidad de gente cogiendo candela, papi!
I mean, imagine being right there. You realize like how lucky everybody that was within this, like they got by the skin of their teeth. You understand? And I'm wondering, this is a recycling area right here. Like, oh, I'm telling you right now, every person that was in that building right here is probably thanking their lucky stars right now. This is some unreal stuff, y'all. This is wild. This is absolutely wild. Okay, let's go back to the live. I'm going to see if I can find more stuff here for you guys. But this is nuts. Hold on. Going back to that live. Show you more of this here. This is bad, guys. Okay. What's interesting is they're saying multiple injured, but I mean, people are those pilots, whoever was the crew on that plane, they are gone. So what they're saying here, I'm reading this off screen here, but it says a massive plane, UPS plane, exploded as it took off from Kentucky Tuesday, leaving multiple injured and sending a massive plume of smoke spreading across the city as fires blazed for nearly a mile. So this MD-11 plane exploded at around 5:15 p.m. as it departed Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport, heading towards Honolulu. So the video shared on social media shows a ball of fire emanating from the center of the plane just moments before it departed the runway. There were 3 crew members. So now we know it's 3, not 4, but 3 crew members on board the flight at the time. And this is what UPS officials have confirmed. Locals then reported a loud explosion that was heard throughout Louisville, with a Metro Safe supervisor telling WDRB the incident began with calls about an explosion, and that LMPD spokesperson Sanders says that the department received 20 calls for service. So the LMPD, Louisville Metro Police, have since announced on social media that several agencies are responding to the scene south of the airport as residents shared photos of smoke filling the sky. Authorities said it remains an active scene with smoke and debris as they issued a shelter-in-place order for a 5-mile radius around the airport, which was later expanded north of the airport. So they said, please remain away from the area until further notice. This is what the police department urged. The collision came just hours after the White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt said Democrats are making air travel unsafe by forcing air traffic controllers to go without pay through the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. She urged just 5 Democrats in the Senate to join Republicans in voting for a clean continuing resolution to extend funding for the government and to make sure that Americans who control plane movements at U.S. airports are paid going into the busiest travel season of the year. This week, federal workers with control centers are set to miss their second paycheck since the start of the shutdown. All right. So again, this sounds like this could have been a mechanical error. That's what it looks like to me, given the fact that there was fire going on right before this plane was taken off. And here's the thing, though. You don't think that they're going to try to use this and spin it? Think about it. You don't think they're going to try to use this and spin it? Oh, this plane crash happened because of the Democrats. Those crazy left demis, right? Come on now. You don't think they're going to try to use that in the next press conference? See what had happened here. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, see? It's the Democrats to blame. Big fireball happened because of the Democrats. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous, y'all. Come on. I blame both. I blame both sides. I blame both red and blue, Democrats and Republicans. They need to figure some things out as soon as possible. This is ridiculous in my personal opinion, okay? But let us continue on. Let's see. It looks like they're going to be reporting some things here shortly. But this is insane. Look at that.
Excuse me, taking off.
Just insane.
Scene. And now that in itself is tragic, and it has led to this massive fire that Louisville fire officials are now trying to wrap their hands around, and it is a huge scene. Look at that field there of flames.
Yeah, and it's getting dark too. It's going to be a long night for fire officials here. And obviously, the FAA confirms that UPS plane has crashed shortly after departing from the Louisville airport.
There's more
here tonight, around 5.
I hate to interrupt this, but I'm going to pause this really quick. There's more than just a few people that lost their life here. Okay? There's a multitude. They say a multitude, multiple injuries, but no. I guarantee, yeah, I'm sure there's multiple injuries, but I guarantee you that there is multiple people that lost their lives here. All right? You mean to tell me that those places that are places of business weren't occupied or filled with people in it? Look at all those cars. You saw that side view, okay, of the girl screaming in Spanish, right? We saw that side view. We saw all those cars. There was a guy that was actually pulling up to one of the buildings. And that fireball made him say, well, I guess I won't be going here today. And he left, right? He banged a Yui, right? So again, it's crazy, guys. This is crazy.
Yes, plane. And we are still gathering details as all of this is unfolding here. Such a horrific scene there.
DeAndrea Turner is live for us now. DeAndrea, what can you share with us? DeAndrea?
Hey, you guys. Well, I'm here at U of L right now, and just a few minutes ago, the code yellow went into effect, which means that the disaster plan is in effect. And we've seen already multiple agencies coming here to be ready for whatever. Meade County EMS is here. Obviously, U of L is here. And I also spoke with Heather with U of L. They say right now they do not have confirmation of patients at this time, but they are standing by just in case. And at this point, again, hospital officials have not confirmed if any victims have arrived. But we do know that there are reports of injuries after this crash at the airport. And just a few minutes ago, the code yellow went into effect. We heard that over the intercom. So they're standing by. They're ready to get people here, the reported people who were injured here, just in case they do come here. But again, this is an ongoing investigation. It's very fluid. And once we learn more information, we'll have that for you. For now, at U of L, DeAndrea Turner, WLKY News.
Just so you know, it's the video itself that's echoing, not me. Okay? It's the video itself.
It's nighttime falls on Louisville. Out at the Louisville International Airport, a UPS plane crashed on takeoff, loaded with fuel, 280,000 gallons.
That's a lot. And LMPD and other officials have confirmed there are injuries.
Wait, he said how many?
Plane crashed on takeoff, loaded with fuel, 280,000 gallons.
That's a lot. And
280,000 gallons of gas, y'all. Say word. That's why there's so much fire going on here. 180,000 gallons.
Crashed on takeoff, loaded with fuel, 280,000 gallons.
280.
LMPD and other officials have confirmed there are injuries following this plane crash.
That's a lot of gas.
Jay Cardosi, we've talked about it a little bit. You were able to kind of pinpoint exactly when this crash happened from your radar.
Yeah, it looked like the smoke plume actually showed up on radar between 5:19 and 5:20 this afternoon. I mean, it went from completely clear to just this huge, massive, what looks like a thunderstorm almost blowing up on the radar scan. And yeah, I can pinpoint at least visually here on the map where that took place as I zoom in to Louisville International Airport on the radar. If you want to show that, guys, up there in the booth one last time here, here is Grade Lane. You can see my mouse right there. Here's Crittenden Drive, and you can see where it appears the crash took place, right in that general area as we've been reporting. And then the smoke plume, of course, expanding off to the north and also the northeast, now somewhat dissipating, but still, yeah, right around 5:19, 5:20 this afternoon.
I have some updated information from the FAA. UPS Flight 2976 crashed, as you mentioned, around 5:15 local time today after departing from Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Obviously here in Kentucky, the McDonnell Douglas MD-11 was headed to Daniel K. International Airport in Honolulu, Hawaii. The FAA and NTSB will continue to investigate, and the NTSB, as always, will lead the investigation and provide any updates. We will, of course, provide those updates to you here on WLKY and on WLKY.com. But a terrible situation here in Louisville, Kentucky.
You know what's weird to me? I'm gonna mute this really quick. But you know what's crazy to me is that they're saying that there are no fatalities, just injuries. Like that nobody lost their lives. There's just injuries. So you mean to tell me the pilots made it? The pilots are still alive? That to me sounds kind of insane and improbable. Right? Or am I the only one who thinks this? This does not make any sense to me.
A chain of
real talk, it doesn't.
Because there's a lot of industrial buildings there, recycling centers.
And along that line, LAP, Ford LAP, power was knocked out. They're on lockdown. They do not have power right now. That is according to a source.
Yeah, because Fern Valley is right behind that. And then, of course, the Ford plant that is out there. Just a horrible situation that is played out here in Louisville today. Let's go to Chopper Bill. Bill, what can you tell us right now? Rick, can you hear me?
Yeah, Rick, go ahead.
All right, so, you know, nighttime is coming. It looks like the fires are not as massive. They look like the fire department has gotten them under control, or they're just burning themselves out. Is that what you're seeing?
Well, these pictures are going to be somewhat deceptive right now because air traffic controllers over at the big airport have kicked us out of their airspace for whatever reason. So this is the best shot the public's going to get at this point. We're roughly almost 4 miles away. So I would venture to say that these fires are still burning very out of control. The first responders are still responding in massive forces. You can still see, I can still see them racing down the Waterson I-65 so they can approach off of Outer Loop and Fern Valley Road. So a massive response to this. The fires are still burning out of control. But like I said, we're probably 3.5, 4 miles away at this point. At the request of Louisville Power.
Bill, knowing now what we do know, UPS flight that was headed to Honolulu, loaded with fuel on takeoff. It had and you can see that fire on one of the engines prior to takeoff. Now, so this would have been taking off going which direction, Bill? Give us a lay of the airport there.
Yeah, they were on 17 right, which is the west runway. They would have been departing south. The winds have been out the south all day. Very evident, by the way, the smoke is going from the airport up towards the Ohio River. The one thing that I noticed when we first got on scene, we really didn't get a chance to show it to you, but there was some visible damage on the right side of the runway, almost down at the very end part of the runway. Where it looks like the airplane, for whatever reason, veered off on the left or right side of the runway and took out some runway markers. And then I think you all did report on one shot that we had where you could see that there was damage to the roof, where it looks like the bottom of the airplane went through the top part of one of those warehouses down there right off of Grade Lane. So obviously that plane was having some major issues, possibly with power or whatever. Maybe it was because of whatever it hit on the runway did not allow it to get into the air. But very tragic scene unfolding down at Louisville International Airport right now, Rick.
Hey, Bill, I wanted to ask you, we know that it had 280,000 gallons of fuel on board there. Was this crash anywhere near the fuel farm there at the airport, or where they store fuel?
Well, most of their fuel, I think, is kept out west over by the Ohio River, and then they truck it over. They do have some storage tanks right in the middle of the airport, over in the middle part of the international airport. So, to my knowledge, there are no storage tanks down in the area where this aircraft crashed. So I just think that that's just a massive amount of fuel that would have been
This is crazy.
on that airplane. Just as a reference, that jet fuel weighs 6.8 pounds per gallon. So think about, you all were talking about how many gallons of fuel. So if that was taken off and it was flying nonstop to Hawaii, it had a lot of fuel on board, and that's why we're seeing this continued burning of the jet fuel over there.
Bill, I was just going to test your knowledge on a flight that was going to Honolulu. How many crew members? And we've just been told 3 crew members on board that UPS flight 2976 headed to Honolulu, which crashed on takeoff today.
Yeah, it was scheduled to land there around 10 o'clock tonight, their time, so about an 8.5-hour flight time there.
And I had the wrong assessment. It looked like they were dying out, but Bill just had to back off. The air traffic controllers kicked him out of their airspace or farther back, so he's taking these pictures from 4 miles away, and you can see that the fires continue to rage.
Wow.
I'm estimating a quarter of a mile stretch of that industrial park.
We just want to bring you up to speed on information from the FAA, and also the pilots union is letting the NTSB take the lead on this. They do not have a comment right now, but just to bring you up to speed on what's happened, according to the FAA, preliminary information, UPS flight 2976 crashed around 5:15 p.m. local time here in Louisville, Kentucky. After departing from Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport, it was a McDonnell Douglas MD-11 headed to the International Airport in Honolulu, Hawaii. The FAA and NTSB are investigating, and the NTSB will obviously lead this investigation here forward.
All right, and we've had several pilots that have been calling in and said our estimation, we got this from the mayor, of course, with 280,000 gallons. That is not correct. Maybe we're talking about the weight. I don't know.
There we go.
Clarify that. Regardless, it was full of fuel. That plane was taking off and heading.
Because y'all were
And we
saying
do
that
have
too.
an updated comment from UPS on their website. It says at approximately 5:20 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, UPS flight 2976 from Louisville, Kentucky to Honolulu, an MD-11 with 3 crew members on board was involved in an accident in Louisville. At this time, we have not confirmed any injuries or casualties. UPS will release more facts as they become available, but the National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, is in charge of this investigation, will be the primary source of information about the official investigation, and that's UPS's comment as far as this investigation goes and what happened.
All right.
Guys, give me 2 seconds. I gotta refresh this page. It's gonna be 2 seconds. Don't leave. 2 seconds. 2. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that, guys. The feed was not. I was losing the feed. I lost everything. Like I couldn't see how many people. I couldn't see your comments. Nothing. And it seems like it's still being sticky right now as we speak too. So I can see your comments on another page, but yeah, just letting you guys know. All right. So if it takes me a second to respond to you guys, I won't be able to highlight your comments or anything, because for some odd reasons, StreamYard's acting the fool right now, just so you know.
Trimark camera there, Trimark 2, you can see what it's looking like from the traffic situation on 65 there, and then you can see the plume of smoke off to the left. That is off of Grade Lane, right by the airport tonight, and then on the right you can see our WOK news chopper giving us the pictures of the flames and the fires that are still raging right now out there off of Grade Lane. A plane taking off, UPS plane with 3 pilots on board, crashed on takeoff. An initial huge explosion. The plane was loaded with fuel, and then that set off a series of explosions and has set several fires, several businesses in that area, recycling facilities there. Ford is off of Fern Valley Road. Just a horrifying situation to look at, and our fire department has its hands full, as you can see.
We have
I feel like it's safe to say.
who are all out there at this.
I truly think it's safe to say that people have lost their lives. I mean, it's a fireball. That plane went down with at least those 3 pilots, those 3 crew members that were on the plane. Okay, so it's safe to say that they lost their lives. All right. I mean, I don't think that they ejected out of a plane like that. Right. So I think it's safe to say that those individuals are gone. But then we don't know if people are in those areas, because that looks like a business type of area. Okay. And we saw cars. There's plenty of cars in the area. So there's still a possibility that this plane crashed on top of buildings. Okay. It looked like it crashed on a specific, or, kind of crashed into a specific area. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. We're going to continue on, but this is just nuts. I'm going to try to get some more information, though. They said right now that there are no casualties, that there are only injuries reported. But let's be real. At least the 3 individuals that were in the plane are gone. There's no way that they survived this crash. No way.
Jennifer, Rick, we're out here near Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport, and you can see since I've been here, there's been a steady stream of law enforcement, first responders who's been out here making their way right in this area over here. They weren't here earlier. We could not see them in this vicinity earlier, but we see a lot more police presence here. Also, a lot more people kind of leaving out of the airport. Some people kind of looking confused about what's been happening. That big billow of smoke, we can still see it a little bit right over here, over my right-hand shoulder here. It's getting darker right now, so it's a little bit harder to spot it, but it's still there. Now, as we were leaving the station, we could see the smoke. We could see some of that ash falling from the sky, just really kind of an overwhelming presence. We heard from the mayor earlier today, and he spoke about the fact that people who live nearby within this 5-mile radius should shelter in place for their safety. That's still in effect right now. We'll continue to update you with more information. Back to you.
All right, Jamie Mays reporting for us. If you're just joining us, this has been a horrific tragedy that has happened here in Louisville. A UPS plane crashed about 5:20 this evening.
Yeah, there was UPS flight 2976. It was headed to Honolulu, loaded with fuel. You could see we had video from the airport earlier today, and if we could show that anytime, go ahead and pop that up, because it's just amazing. It was taken from another passenger on another plane out at the international airport, and you can see one of the engines on fire as the UPS plane was getting ready to take off. You can see it's already has an engine that is on fire, and then follow it down about 5 more seconds, and you'll see the massive explosion.
And I had a pilot friend who was texting me right there some information saying this was just kind of the perfect storm, that if this was happening in the air, if there was some sort of fire in the air, they would have been able to dump some of that fuel that they had, but unfortunately they didn't have that on their side. That this happened very quickly.
Yeah.
And here's another look at that crash from a passenger on another plane at the Louisville airport.
This is a passenger on another plane?
Initial explosion of the plane crashing into the businesses that warehouses and such that are right next to the airport. And
that's not a passenger from another plane. That sounds like, that looks like a crew member.
After another, and we got about a quarter-mile stretch of buildings just burning.
And also power is out to some portions of the area there, a lot of businesses. We have a source that's telling us that power is out at the Ford Louisville assembly plant there, the Ford LAP, and they're on lockdown, as are people within a 5-mile radius of the Louisville airport. City officials are asking people to shelter in place as they continue to investigate. We are still unsure of exactly what was on the plane, as far as what was being transported by UPS. We are unsure of what was crashed, what the plane crashed into with all of those buildings and that were housing items.
What we do know is there were 3 individuals of the crew on that UPS flight 2976, and our heart and prayers go out to the families of the crew members. We're waiting to hear the status of them. And you mentioned, at
They're gone.
Ford. So it's
hard to
where
say
you see
that,
the
but
line
they're
of
gone.
fire and that plume of smoke, it's Grade Lane, and then you've got Fern Valley Road, and that's where the Ford plant is.
And we do know that Grade Lane is closed indefinitely, and we would imagine that.
I'm going to skip ahead a little
That
bit.
day here, November 4th, and we had
Ago or so, but we know that
Madison.
Hey guys, so what we can tell you right now is a lot of that smoke from our vantage point has dissipated. So we're right on the edge of the airport, one of the roads that goes right into the airport before you, as you're getting on and off 65. And we really can't see the smoke as much anymore. It has gotten darker, so our vantage point isn't as good as it was when we first got here about 40 minutes ago or so. But we know the FAA confirms that this was a UPS plane that was headed to Honolulu that crashed. And when we were on our way here from the station, our station, I put it in Google Maps, is about 10 miles away. And we can see the plume of smoke even from our station. We know a lot of our viewers have seen it from miles away as well. And it's hard for us to zoom in right now to show you the smoke because, again, it's a little bit darker out. And we have seen some of that smoke start to dissipate. I would say even within the last 15 to 20 minutes, it's not as bad as it first was when we first arrived. So it's starting to dissipate, which is good, but there have been a lot of different shelter in places that have been put in just because of that smoke and what people are seeing and even smelling. We can smell that smoke. One thing that you can't see through the TV is what it smells like out here, and we can smell that smoke here right now as well. So we're continuing to stay out here. There have been a lot of UPS workers who we've interacted with who have come to see what was going on. In fact, we were just speaking with one UPS worker. She told us she had gotten off of work not too long ago, went home, and then all of a sudden she started getting all these text messages, all of these phone calls, people checking in on her, asking if she was okay, and luckily she was, but that's how she found out what happened. And she said it's going to be hard to come back to work tomorrow. If they are coming back to work tomorrow, we don't know what this looks like for employees tomorrow either right now. A lot of uncertainty right now, but saying it's just going to be a hard process moving forward. And she was just very speechless, and I feel like we were very speechless too as we're sitting here waiting for more information, wanting to know what's going on. But what we can tell you right now is there's still law enforcement on scene. They're still encouraging people to stay away from the airport if you don't need to be here. We've been seeing a lot of different cars too driving. There's a road right in front of us. It might be hard to see right now because it's dark, but we've been seeing a lot of cars speeding back and forth on the other side of this fence. So still a very active scene. But we'll continue to bring you the latest updates of what we know from what we're seeing here on the scene right now. But what we see so far is that smoke is starting to go down a little bit. Guys, back to you.
Well, that is some good news.
All right, we do have a comment from Governor Andy Beshear. Kentucky, we are aware of a reported plane crash near Louisville International Airport. First responders are on site, and we will share more information as available. Please pray for the pilot's crew and everyone affected. We will share more soon. And that was a comment from Governor Beshear, who is headed to Louisville, Kentucky. We are told Mayor Greenberg talked with him, the governor, over the phone not long ago and said that he is headed to Louisville to come together and gather some information as far as the latest on the investigation. They're hoping to release more information sometime tonight.
Okay. 3 crew members on board UPS Flight 2976 taking off at 5:19, heading south on the runway. We saw one of the engines on fire, ablaze, and then it went off the runway and crashed into the industrial area off of Grade Lane. Now, when we had Mayor Greenberg on, he threw out the 280,000 gallons. What he meant to say was 280,000 pounds. A gallon of jet fuel weighs about 6.7, 6.8 pounds. So if you, an MD-11, which this plane was, will carry 41, 42,000 if it's an extended version. And that would do the math. If you do the math on 6.8, 280,000 pounds of jet fuel on board, because that plane was headed to Honolulu.
An 8.5-hour, 8-hour and 38-minute flight was expected to land there at 10 o'clock Hawaii time. We have talked to a UPS employee. Can we listen into that interview?
I got a phone call from my dad asking me was I okay, and I literally had just walked in the house from work, and all of my family members was just calling me, asking me if I was okay. They told me about it, and I just start calling my employees and stuff, and just make.
Real quick, we're gonna listen to the rest of this, but I'm reading this off screen real quick. They're saying that according to a Kentucky scanner, and I'm gonna say this, like, take this with a grain of salt, because people say things just for the sake of saying things because people are crazy. All right, when they're lying out here. But allegedly, there is a Kentucky scanner out here saying that people are allegedly trapped from this whole plane crash, and firefighters are trying to find a way to get to them. Apparently, one or more of the buildings from apparently one or more of these buildings that are near the airport. Okay. And of course, we already know that the plane was taking off and it was heading towards Hawaii. So that is just something that people are saying on the internet. Don't know if that's entirely true, because I was hoping that there was going to be a recording of the actual scanner saying that. But I have yet to see anything about that so far. But yeah, apparently there are a bunch of people trapped right now and they're trying to get to them. But we'll see if the news also brings this up as well. Let's continue.
Sure they was okay and stuff. And then that's when I came over to, see what was going on. I was told from my group that it was one of our planes. Some are saying it's Spirit. I'm not for sure, but other than that, I'm just a little shaky because I don't know how tomorrow's gonna go. You gotta go to work tomorrow. You gotta think about planes falling out the sky, being in the building, and I don't know. It's a little scary for me.
Very scary for sure.
Agreed.
We were in the
road trips sound really good, don't they? Now, don't road trips sound freaking amazing? Just a thought.
Middle of the newscast, and we were just admiring one of the pictures that Jay had up of a beautiful fall day with the trees, and you can see in the left corner this gigantic plume of smoke, and our newsroom started getting calls, and that was an explosion out at the airport. That was that airplane that was taking off that crashed, loaded down with fuel, headed to Honolulu, crashed into Great Lane.
And taking off during probably UPS, one of its busiest times of the day, when a lot of UPS planes are taking off. And Chopper Bill mentioned there were UPS planes stacked up on the runway there. We do want to talk about, there is a shelter in place within 5 miles of the Louisville airport. We've mentioned it a few times, but it is still in place indefinitely until officials release that shelter in place. A source is telling us that Ford LAP, the Louisville Assembly Plant, is also on lockdown. The power apparently was knocked out when all of this happened. This is kind of having a ripple effect, not just at the.
I'm skipping ahead a little bit.
Injuries. Do you know anything about any injuries or casualties?
Right now, we don't know anything about any injuries or casualties. We have had it confirmed that LMPD confirmed to us there were injuries, but I spoke with some of the officials here, and they say they have not received anyone yet. But even though they have not received anyone yet, does not mean they're not prepared, because even just 5 minutes ago, they came over the intercom and they said, can I please have your attention?
Dang, what's up with the sound?
Code yellow is in effect. They said it 3 different times to ensure that everyone in this hospital knew that code yellow was in effect. And essentially what that means is their emergency disaster plan is up and ready to go. And if they get any of these victims from this plane crash, that they are ready and they are prepared to take care of them. Again, we do know that there have been multiple injuries reported, but no one has been brought to U of L right now. So they are ready and they are standing by to ensure that they receive the care that they need in order to get. And not only did they say code yellow 5 minutes ago, they even said it about 30 minutes ago. So people inside of this emergency room, they are ready to take care of the people who have been impacted by this plane crash. But right now it's kind of a wait and see game. But again, they're prepared, they're ready, and they're just waiting for people to come here.
Now, again, I'm gonna pause that there for now. The audio is from them. Okay, we're not done yet. I'm hopping to another place. We're gonna come back to this, but there's a lot of coverage. A lot of people are talking about this, of course. And this is just, it's still just absolutely crazy. All of this that's going down. So just give me a second. I got another video here. Pull up here. Another girl reporting what's going on over here too.
Part of that chemical smell, but let me
See?
what
Echo gone.
So we were driving out to another story. It was around 5:15, and I saw a massive cloud of smoke starting to fill up the sky. When I initially made the call to the Louisville Fire Department, they didn't fully know that this had even happened yet. This was right when crews were initially starting to respond. So we were able to get pretty close right up into where that scene was. We were very close to these flames, and there was standstill traffic of people trying to leave this area. They were trying to get people out of this area. LMPD continuously was closing off more and more roads close to that scene. So we since have kept pushing back further and further and further. But we saw dozens of emergency vehicles responding to this scene. The last place that we were before where we are now, perched up kind of on an overpass, they actually told us that it was raining oil from this fire and that we needed to get out of the way in order to stay safe. So on your screen right now, you should be able to see part of that red glow. You can see them fighting this fire. You can see a little bit of that spray going on. But this is, if you've been watching over the last hour or so, this flame has gotten a lot smaller, but the smoke is still filling the sky. And right now, because it's getting dark, it's difficult to differentiate what is the darkness and what is the smoke. But there are lots of people up on this overpass, you know, people in the community watching this fire who live in the area. But presumably, if you're almost anywhere in the city and you step outside, you may not be able to tell now because of the darkness, but that smoke is just absolutely filling the sky. But it was a very scary situation, seeing people trying to leave that area, and there was essentially standstill traffic of people trying to get away from where these flames were. A very scary situation. Lots of other elements. You talk about things falling from the sky that were on this plane. You talk about all the flights that are going to be coming in and out of SDF, in and out of the world port. This is an evolving situation that we'll learn lots more about, you know, over the next couple of days. But what an incredibly sad day in Louisville. You know, we know 3 people were on that plane. We don't know their condition at this time.
I mean,
these flames, I mean, just looking at it, it's horrific, guys.
You know, not trying to be rude, but I think it's safe to say, they didn't make it. Okay. I think it's safe to say that they didn't make it, but you know, we shall see what's going on here.
Honestly, this is an area where there is a lot of stuff on the ground already, and it's hard to be able to tell, you know, what may exactly be from that and what maybe was already out here laying along this overpass. But there is some stuff on the ground. I can't tell if this is something that would have been from that explosion. Hard to say.
I mean, I think that right now, I mean, even like traffic in the area, like airlines, you know, airplanes and stuff, I feel like they're all kind of circling around as well. But I'm going to the next, I'm going back to the other one. I was hoping that there was going to be more information there, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's continue back with what this lady was saying here.
LKY News.
Back to the echo.
Once again, there is the scene. This is off of Grade Lane, right out by the airport, just off of the runway. It lines up perfectly with the direction that UPS plane was attempting to take off from. Could not stop in time, had one of the engines that was just roaring with flames. And then it exploded as it hit into one of those warehouses, several industrial businesses along Grade Lane right there.
I just got a text from a friend who her husband flies for UPS, and she said that her husband was there, left about the same time as that crew did, and she's still waiting, obviously, to check in with her husband. But what a terrible, terrible time for the UPS family. We do want to bring you up to speed from FAA. Again, released a statement, the latest on their investigation. UPS flight 2976 crashed around 5:15 today here in Louisville, Kentucky. After departing from the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport, we talked, this plane was headed to Honolulu, Hawaii. It was about an 8-hour, 38-minute flight. So it was fully gassed up, ready to go for a long flight.
Yeah, 42,000 gallons of fuel that weighs 80,000 pounds. So a lot of 80,000 pounds. So a lot of jet fuel that was involved in this initial explosion. Once again, our heart goes out to the 3 crew members of that flight 2976 today.
Yeah, UPS confirmed there were 3 crew members on that UPS flight. They are not confirming any injuries or casualties. However, LMPD has said that there were some injuries, and we're still waiting to hear the extent of those injuries or if there were any casualties. A lot of details still yet to be released. We do expect to hear from city and state officials here later this evening with the latest on the investigation, which this investigation is going to continue for many more hours and days and probably weeks. As they are still at this hour fighting to put the fire out from this plane crash.
We talked to Mayor Greenberg. He was out of town, unfortunately, as he's told us, but he has been getting updates, and he's coming back into Louisville, and they plan on having a briefing for us, and we will, of course, cover that for you. We're going to stay on here, folks. Just devastation here in our city today at Louisville International Airport.
Just stay with us here. We do want to show you some debris from WLKY News Chopper. There on the runway, you're looking at debris that was shot just after this plane crash happened. It's kind of hard to see because of the time of the day. The sun was going down, but we're told from Chopper Bill that this is a look at debris from that plane crash that's there on the runway. Again, the airport TSA is temporarily closed at the airport there tonight, and they're telling people if you have a flight tonight or tomorrow to be sure to stay in touch with your airline to work all of that out and to see when it will reopen. We are still unsure, as this is still a changing scene and a changing investigation, as firefighters and first responders are still working to put that fire out and work the scene.
We will be giving you a clear picture at 7:30. Governor Beshear will be giving us a briefing. Not sure if Mayor Greenberg will be back in time for that one, but Andy Beshear will be giving a briefing at 7:30, and we will bring that to you live here on WLKY and also online. And understand we also being simulcast knife into that structure there, and then you can see the debris field past that. Just a horrible situation that played out in Louisville today.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is nighttime now, and our first responders are working to still work this scene as they do, and they train for this kind of thing. Just a terrible night for the UPS family, for sure.
Well, we've got you covered. We have DeAndrea Turner at the hospital. Jamie Mays is out near Grade Lane. Norman Seawright is out there, Madison Elliott. So we are in contact with officials trying to gather information. And this is a very fluid scene, so please bear with us. But what we can tell you is that UPS flight was leaving today, 5:19. Is flight 2976 with 3 crew members on board. We've shown you video of one of the engines that was on fire as it was speeding down the runway, and then it left ran out of runway and went into that industrial area, and a massive explosion followed by these minor explosions in these industrial facilities that are right there off of Grade Lane. And the firefighters here in Louisville, who are first class, we have the best fire department in the world, folks. They are working their tails off right now to contain those fires and help rescue
This is just nuts.
Inside any of those structures. Look at the massive scene here, the area that's laid out.
And our first responders are having
just
to
nuts.
Really deal with this massive scene. We want to check in with Madison Elliott now for a look at what's happening there and the latest update from there. Madison?
Wow, hold on. Let me pause that. Look at that. Look at that. That is insane. That is absolutely insane.
So I would say it's quieted down a little bit from where we are standing right now. Again, we're still outside of the airport on one of the service roads that kind of runs parallel to the airport that takes you to, merges with the drop-off line, the road to the airport. We're also right next to a UPS hangar as well, and we've seen some planes like on the runway, not taking off, but kind of navigating the runway. I'm not sure where they're going right now, but the plume of smoke that we saw here, we were saying before that it's kind of started to dissipate a little bit, and I would say it has dissipated even more since we last checked in with you guys. It's dark out right now, so it's really hard for us to kind of see as far as we were able to see before, and it may be kind of hard to see for viewers at home on camera. The plume of smoke anymore, it really has dissipated a lot. We still see a little bit of it lingering in the air, but not as much coming up from the ground as it was before. What I can see, and what's probably very hard for people at home to see right now, is I can kind of see, it still looks like almost, it's like an orangey reddish hue right over the hilltop. I can't tell if it's still flames or not. That's what it kind of looks like from where we're standing right now, but it's hard to see. So there is still activity though going on at that crash site. From what we can see right now, we still see first responders are here, and even more first responders kind of continue to pass us. So more and more people continuing to come through as this all evolves. And as you guys were saying, this plane was headed to Honolulu, and UPS did respond to us. We reached out to them, and it seems that they can't confirm injuries or casualties at this point. So we're still waiting to learn more about that. But what we can say is that it looks like the scene from here maybe is not as bad as it first was with all the smoke. But again, it's very hard for us to see from where we are. There were a lot of different UPS workers who were here standing along with us for a little bit. People from, I believe, neighborhoods, who live nearby, coming out here, standing exactly where we were standing just to see what was going on. A lot of people just like us have a lot of questions of what happened, what led up to this. So we're still waiting to confirm a lot of that information, but we should have more information tonight. Officials with Louisville Fire and LMPD officials are set to have a press conference this evening where hopefully we can get some more answers for people. The governor, his office just sent out a press release saying that they will be making Governor Andy Beshear available for some questions from reporters tonight as well. So hopefully we can get another update from Governor Beshear this evening, answering some of those questions. What led up to this? What happened? And if anybody is hurt, those are some of the key questions we're still waiting to get answered right now. As far as the airport, we actually have seen a lot of people driving past us. It's important to note that check in with your flight right now. We just had somebody honk at us as they were driving by, but checking in with your airline if you're flying out. We're supposed to fly out tonight. It seems like none of the flights are taking off right now. If you're flying out tomorrow, just check in with your airline to find out the latest on what's going on there. But I will say traffic around here has calmed down a little bit. It doesn't look like as many people are now coming through here. Maybe that they had a flight and saw what was going on and it maybe have diverted elsewhere. But we're continuing to follow, and we'll stay here and continue to follow the latest updates. But as far as that smoke we were seeing, it looks like we really don't see as much of it anymore. So hopefully that means first responders are making some progress on getting a lot of those flames out from that what appeared to be an explosion. A lot of people heard that, described that to us. They heard an explosion. Somebody messaged me on Facebook,
I was looking at all those glitter,
saying it was one of his friend.
Thank you for the super chat.
Explosion, and said it was the loudest explosion he has ever heard in his life. And from videos that viewers have sent us, one on our social media page, on our Facebook page, you can see you can see the incident as it unfolds, and it is hard to watch. So just a warning there, but we're waiting to learn more just about what's going on. But it sounds like we'll have more from officials here later tonight. So we'll continue to bring you latest from what we're seeing here on scene, but we'll send it back to you guys in the studio for now.
All right, Madison Elliott live for us
tonight.
We do want to talk a little bit about that shelter in place. It has been expanded from 5 miles around the airport all the way to the river. And I got a text from a friend whose husband has a business near the airport, and apparently businesses are receiving a lens alert saying to shelter in place there, which we kind of expected.
Well, Louisville International has had a history of safety. This is the biggest one, and since I guess 1970 was the last really big crash that they had out at the airport. With UPS being there, it's the third largest cargo shipment airport in the United States. So, and Chopper Bill told us the UPS was extremely busy. He saw several planes that were lined up, ready to take off. UPS Flight 29
Otherwise, Norman Seawright, who is there at the airport admin building. Norman, what can you tell us? Do you have any updates?
Well, Jennifer, what I do know right now is that airport officials and other investigators will be giving us an official update here. They expect that to be around 8:15 p.m. As we've been also notified, Governor Beshear will be speaking at Metro Hall around 7:30, and they do not want to preempt that. So as soon as the governor is done talking, then we will start getting more updates from officials here on this end. But of course, investigators are still trying to figure out exactly what led to this. They're also, of course, we are very, very close to the airport and where this happened. So if you, in this area, when I'm off air, I'm covering my nose and mouth because they are still wanting everyone here to shelter in place, make sure you're not breathing any of this stuff in because, again, you have jet fuel mixed into the air, you have anything else, debris, all this other stuff in the air. So, again, please just emphasize safety, emphasize caution, stay home if you can. But, again, around 8 o'clock or so, after the governor is done talking, we will start getting more updates from airport officials here at the LRA administrative offices. So, Jennifer, that's what we have right now, and we'll keep you updated as soon as they get started over here.
All right, Norman Seawright live for us tonight from the airport there. Rick, we've just received word that all TARC service has been suspended immediately because of the shelter in place. And we're unsure of when the shelter in place will be lifted, but we do expect to hear from the governor and the mayor around 7:30 tonight. So very soon, in about 20 minutes.
Yeah. Initially, it started out with a 5-mile shelter in place around the airport, and then they quickly expanded that to all the way north, all the way to the.
I just wanted to hear that update from that guy to see if there's anything new going on. Give me a second here, guys. I'm just pulling up all this other stuff. You know, there's other reports going on and all that crap. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see here. Nothing to see here. Let's check out this one right here.
A320, Airbus A321. Very few 3 or 4 engine aircraft manufactured because these jet engines are so reliable. To have what appears to be an uncontained fire on the left-hand side of the aircraft is rare. And on this airplane, it still had presumably 2 good operating engines. So whatever happened to this airplane that caused it to crash was catastrophic.
Thank you, Holly. Holly, thank you.
The flight crew probably had no ability to do anything once this had progressed to the point that they were in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain the amount of fuel on board? We're being told 280,000 pounds of fuel, and talk more about that and what that would be the equivalent to.
Well, it would be, let's see, so fuel weighs approximately 6.7 pounds per gallon. So if you take the 280,000 and divide it by 6.7, you come up with how many gallons. You've got 3 engines. You've got to have a reserve. You're going to Hawaii where you're in an island area. So there is a tremendous amount of fuel. We can do the calculations here right quick.
That sounds about right.
280,000.
Lad, you've seen a lot of. Go ahead. You've seen a lot of aviation disaster.
40,000 gallons.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So even conservatively, you're talking about several 18-wheeler tanker trucks.
Wow.
You've seen a lot of aviation disasters. At this point, or so early on, where does this rank in your mind?
It's a horrendous tragedy. When I see these, it just breaks my heart. But it's a terrible tragedy. We don't know what kind of ground victims there are. That's going to be, yet to be determined. It could be days before we find that out. I look back to the Concorde crash I handled years ago because it had a catastrophic fire, crashed into that hotel, ground victims, obviously all the victims on board the airplane. So it's a terrible tragedy. It was a cargo flight, meaning that there weren't passengers on board. So if there is a ray of hope, it's that, there weren't 300 other people on board this airplane.
Based on the scenes you've been seeing, again, we are continuing to watch this fire burn with that amount of fuel in this aircraft. What's the firefighting effort going to be like from here on out? I mean, how long can we expect this to last into the evening hours, conservatively?
The Louisville airport they've got a great firefighting team there. They're prepared for aviation disasters. It's a major aviation hub. They've got specialized firefighting equipment. So I would think that they can get this fire tamped down within a couple hours, even though it is a lot of fuel and a horrific situation. It's close to the airport. There's a lot of resources there that they can push toward getting this extinguished.
How important are these trainings? You know, we saw a disaster drill here just 2 weeks ago, Ladd, at the airport involving one of the airlines. Of course, they rotate which airlines volunteers to be a part of it, and they took over a large section of the airport with state, local, and federal authorities.
It's important because you have to coordinate all of the different responding agencies. The case in point here, this is an off-airport event, but you have specialized aircraft firefighting equipment with specialized trucks and gear and foam that are available at the airport, and the airport fire department needs to coordinate with the local fire department, with the state troopers, with the local police department to secure the scene and put out the fire. So just that level of coordination, the training exercises are great for that.
Okay, thank you very much. Ladd Sanger, an aviation legal expert, joining us here. And we are bringing in more experts who, of course, have connections to these agencies that investigate these crashes. As we just said, the lead investigation agency on this is going to be the NTSB.
Right, and we've got Greg Fife, a former NTSB investigator, hopefully also on the line. Greg, are you there?
You know what sucks about this one is that they don't have the good angles. You know what I mean? The one with the echoes has the best angles, man. It kind of sucks, but unfortunately, that is the truth. Let's take a look at this. We're back to the echoes, guys. We're back to the echoes.
From some of the workers who are over in that area to business owners to people who will come together. But we're waiting for those answers and really focused, I think, right now on the recovery and the heroism of the first responders.
Well, Congressman, we're not just dealing with that plane crash, but the fires that are burning. That's just a massive stretch of Grade Lane down.
Here's some updates here. We got a few updates. Nothing great, nothing huge, nothing nothing jaw-dropping, but there's a few things that they're saying right now, which is okay. They're saying, and I'm just reading this off screen so you guys can see the fire and see what's going on. The visuals. It's all about the visuals. You feel me? So anyway, they're saying all arriving and departing flights have been halted at the Louisville airport, of course. All right, so airspace has been restricted. That's what they've been saying right now. Of course, this is going to be, they also say that the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, has also posted temporary restricted airspace around the airport, stating only relief operations are permitted within a 5-mile radius until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow morning is when they're going to, I guess, lift the restrictions. Okay. And I get it because there's a lot of fuel. There's a lot of accelerant in that area. So I get that they're trying to make sure everything's cleared off before anybody gets anywhere near it. Okay. Man and son see debris falling from the sky following UPS plane crash. So Justin Dunn and his son saw debris fall out from the sky after the UPS plane actually crashed near the airport. Okay. So then apparently he held up a piece of paper that was among the debris while being interviewed by CNN. All right. By a CNN affiliate. So they say my son was like, hey, look in the sky. And it was coming down out of the sky and he picked it up. So he said he saw other white pieces falling from the sky and he suspects that they were parts of the plane. There's definitely debris all through here, probably within 10 miles. He added that he and his friends who work for UPS, or he has friends that work for UPS and has not been able to make contact with them. He's never seen anything like this particular crash. I just hope everyone made it out of it. But I'm telling you right now, you saw the footage. We all saw the footage. There's no way anyone that was in that plane survived that plane crash. Okay. It was a fireball. All right. It was a fireball. So again, I just doubt it. Okay. I truly, truly doubt it. What's going on here? Oh, I guess this is the press conference.
7, 8. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Check. Test 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, the press conference is testing one.
Governor Andy Beshear will
That was
be giving
random.
us, an update or a briefing on what he knows, and I'm sure he'll
Press conference isn't for another 45 minutes.
Injuries, fatalities.
My understanding.
We're talking about, but there were 3 crew members from UPS on board Flight 2976 today when it attempted to take off.
And University Hospital has confirmed some injuries. They are treating some patients. We're not sure the number of patients yet. We do have a reporter there at the hospital, and hopefully we'll get an update from her very soon. But again, we're waiting just a couple more minutes for the governor and mayor, a briefing there with them. Hopefully we'll provide some more details about what happened.
So they're doing a briefing now. Okay, so they're going to be doing a briefing soon. That's great, because I got to wrap up here soon. So good news that
this is something that's not just going to affect the Louisville.
Hold on, this is good news that they're saying that they're having the briefing now. I honestly thought it was going to be an hour from now, or like 45 minutes from now. So we won't miss the press conference. So press conference will be coming up here very, very soon. All right. So yes. And Barbara, thank you so much. I appreciate you acknowledging the work. Okay. That's the reason why I'm on this particular news feed, because they got the best footage that I've seen so far. They got the best coverage as far as like the aerial shot and everything. They got the best footage, yo, right here. And it's all about the footage. It's all about the visuals. All right. We want to see what's going on here. Right. Everybody else is kind of viewing from like off behind fences and stuff like that from afar. Right. We got that aerial shot. We can see everything. And that's what we want. Right. At least that's what I want when I'm watching stuff like this. Right. So apparently they're supposed to be having a press conference or a briefing here very, very soon. And let me tell you something here, guys. I'm just going to keep it a bean. They're not going to give us much information here. They're not. It's too soon. They're still putting out the fire. They might let us know, see what had happened was, right? They're going to be like, see what had happened was, all we know is fireball, plane tried to take off, and then it crashed. We're still investigating everything. You see what I'm saying? They're not going to have everything yet. They won't. Okay? They might be able to, I wish they could release some more of the information. Hold on, guys. Did I lose you? Can you guys see me? Can you guys see me? Yeah, you guys can see me, but this thing is tripping balls. All right. My computer is tripping. All right. But as I was saying, I might have to refresh really quick here because my screen that I control everything is black. It just literally just went on the fritz here. Okay. No, and they're muted.
And then what I'm going to do,
I have them muted. But as I was saying, this press briefing, they're probably not going to give a whole lot of information because they don't have everything yet. Do they know everything yet? No, but they're going to try to get as much information out here as they can. But they're going to hold a lot of things close to the vest because, of course, they're still trying to figure things out. So we'll see what happens here. But yeah, we don't really know. We may not know everything. They may not have all the information that they need to give us right now, given the fact that this just freaking happened, y'all. Right? So let's let them cook.
slightly east of north throughout the course of the early evening hours. Now it has completely dissipated. But yeah, I was talking to my wife. She was saying that she could smell a little bit of jet fuel in the air, and that's in the northeastern portion of the county, close to Prospect and the Glen Oaks subdivision. So yeah, for good reason, that shelter in place is in effect. Even though that plume has dissipated, still a lot of questions that need to be answered as far as what's going on out there at this time. And now we're getting to that time of the event where details are coming in pretty slow. So hopefully, you know, the governor can shed some more light for us as to what's going on and going forward as well through the evening.
All right, thank you, Jay. Boy, those pictures, as that fire continues to burn. Our news chopper was closer to the scene earlier, and then the air traffic controllers kicked them back out. But Chopper Bill was like, I don't understand why, because there's no flights going in and out of the airport right now. But you can see from a distance, he says he's got to stay about 4 miles away as best he can zoom in. And if you get in closer to that, you can see that fire to the left of your screen is really pretty big.
Well, and you know, this plane was filled with fuel on takeoff there, so this is a massive scene there.
It's a fireball.
We're waiting for a 7:30 press conference with Governor Beshear and Mayor Craig Greenberg, expecting to give us an update here on the latest on this investigation, which the National Transportation Safety Board is leading. Then we expect to hear from airport officials and possibly the NTSB around 8:15 tonight.
That's why.
That information for you here live as it happens.
Okay, and LMPD just put out that their facility on Taylor Boulevard is acting as a victim reunification site. So if you had anybody that was involved in this was LMPD on Taylor Boulevard is acting as a victim getting everyone back together, family members.
Reunification?
Helping them out and such. That's on Taylor Boulevard.
It happens.
Victim reunification.
There you go.
There's a lot of people who work for UPS or around UPS. Again, this is the mayor's gallery there. We're waiting for Governor Beshear, mayor, and some other officials who are going to give us an update on this plane crash that happened earlier this evening. This is the mayor's gallery there.
Hopefully they'll be doing it very soon.
A lot of ground pictures of the flight taking off. We can show that one more time of what we have. Someone that was on one of the
ground crew. Yeah, ground crew.
Yeah, that was attempting. That was definitely not a passenger. I was about to say that was not a passenger on a plane. That was definitely a crew member, you know, on a ride near that actual runway where he was able to capture that, because he was cursing like crazy, and then he was telling the person who was driving the truck to pull away because he didn't want to get anywhere near the damn plane, the damn situation, obviously, right? So pretty insane stuff right there. Pretty insane stuff. Mara, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. And Jeremy, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the coverage. Of course. Jeremy, thank you. Appreciate the support. And thank you, Mara. But yeah, I mean, this is. Yeah, this is just crazy. Hopefully they do this press conference, this briefing here very soon. If not, unfortunately, I'm going to have to wrap up here. But let's see.
One of the guys that owned a scrapyard there that said, thankfully, none of his employees were on the grounds when those explosions started occurring. Once again, we're waiting for that briefing that's coming up now in about 20 seconds. This was flight 2976, a UPS flight with 3 crew members on board, crashed upon takeoff, attempting to take off today from Louisville International Airport.
And there's still a shelter in place in order to the river there, and also
press conference supposed to be happening here soon
as part of that shelter in place. So just stay inside if you live near the airport there. Stay inside, doors and windows shut until they lift that. And we're unsure of when that's going to be, but we expect to get an update here in the next few seconds.
I think we've covered our 1 minute. Let's check back in and see if they're approaching the podium. We should be getting underway with our briefing.
Mayor's gallery right there.
Andy Beshear and Mayor Craig Greenberg will be giving us an update on the situation that played out. So it should be momentarily.
They're like, vamp, vamp,
Well, we
vamp,
talked to the mayor
vamp.
over the phone shortly after this happened, and he had quickly talked to the governor about all of that. And even at that moment, he didn't have a lot of details. So there's been some time. This happened about 5:15, 5:20. So there has been some time for them to gather details, and that's probably what they're doing right now, is gathering details, talking to officials. And this is still a very active scene at the airport there. As you can see, fires still burning on that massive debris field.
Well, and one of the other problems, remember the Givaudan plant, that was at least contained here on Payne Street. This not only the crash site of the plane, but third of a mile, quarter of a mile of fires that are burning. So
Multiple buildings.
It's just such a coverage area that they got to be able to get to everybody.
There it is. They fixed the audio.
See what is going on and get a head count of the number of employees that were on site.
Finally.
We had some video of a building that was affected too, that looked like maybe a wing or the nose of
Something
the plane
went right through it, just cut right through that.
We want to check in with Jay real quick while we're waiting for this press conference with the governor and the mayor with the shelter in place. Jay.
Yeah, guys, thank you so very much. So here's the very latest on that shelter in place from the outer loop and points north to the Ohio River and also the Jeffersonville area. If you reside in that colored in circle there, we want you to just stay inside, hunker down, and be sure and shut off the air conditioning and also the heating as well. You don't want to let any of that air that's on the outside into your house. This is from the health department. And actually, we told you about this about an hour and a half ago. Got a call from a very good friend of mine, Dr. Henry Sadlow, who wanted me to pass that on to you folks as well. So again, in that shelter in place, the outer loop and points north to the Ohio River, please shut off your air conditioning and also your heating. Shut the windows, as Jennifer alluded to, until this thing is lifted. Again, the smoke plume has pretty much all but dissipated. Don't see it at all on the radar scan anymore. But boy, guys, some of the pictures and videos coming in from our viewers. Thank you very much to everybody out there for sending in your information. Pretty amazing, just jaw-dropping. The videos, the fireballs from various angles, and also the smoke plume that can be seen from miles and miles and miles. Guys, let's send it back to you.
Jay, we do want to just mention again, LMPD is opening up its training academy for victim reunification, their victim services unit. We want to go live now to the
There we
mayor
go.
there and the
Come
governor
on.
to listen
Press
in.
conference time. There we go. Let's go. Let's get it. Man, where's the sound, baby? Come on.
Good. Good evening, everyone.
Okay.
Tonight, you're going to hear from myself, Julie Carr with the
And
mayor's
back up.
office, Jody, the director of emergency management for Louisville, your police chief, fire chief O'Neill. You're going to hear from your state senator, Katura Herron, Representative Lisa Wilner, councilwoman, is also going to join us. We also have representatives from Congressman Morgan McGarvey's office, Senator Paul's office. You have Chief Grimes from Louisville Airport Police, the U.S. Attorney's Office, MSD, KSP, Kentucky Emergency Management, Kentucky Homeland Security, and a number of others, because this is an all-hands-on-deck response, and everyone's contributions are appreciated and will be recognized. At approximately 5:14 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, UPS Flight 2976 from Louisville, Kentucky to Honolulu, Hawaii, an MD-11 with 3 crew members on board was involved in a catastrophic crash here in Louisville adjacent to our airport. UPS will be releasing more facts as available. The National Transportation Safety Board will be in charge of the investigation and will be on the scene shortly. They will be the primary source of the investigation as it continues in the days and in the weeks ahead. I can confirm that there was no specifically hazardous cargo on board of the plane that would create an environmental issue for those around the site, but the impact and where it impacted could create those types of situations. So please, if there is a shelter in place, follow it. Other agencies involved that are at the scene or available: the Kentucky National Guard, Kentucky Office of Homeland Security, the Louisville Fire Department, the Lexington Fire Department, the Bardstown Fire Department, the Shepherdsville Fire Department, Louisville Emergency Management, the Fern Creek Fire Department, Pleasure Ridge Park Fire Department, Fairdale Fire Department, Anchorage Middletown Fire Department, Jeffersontown Fire Department, Airport Police Department, Louisville Metro Police, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, St. Matthews Police Department, Shively Police Department, KSP, Louisville Metro EMS, MSD, Louisville Gas and Electric, Kentucky Emergency Management. Again, we have virtually every single fire, police, and emergency response group that is responding right now to what you're seeing. At this time, we've got some initial numbers, but let me tell you, I expect them to grow. Right now, we believe we have at least 3 fatalities. So I believe that number is going to get larger.
At least
we have
3.
At least 11 injuries, some of them very significant, that are being treated by local hospitals. Again, I think that number will get larger. There is a victim family reunification center being set up at the Louisville Metro Police Training Academy. That is 2911 Taylor Boulevard. Victim services personnel will be on site and on location for anyone who needs information. The United Way is also offering shelter to anybody that's been impacted. You can call them at 502-376-6617. Updates on the operation of the Louisville International Airport will be shared after we're completed here around 8:15 via press conference with Louisville Emergency Management. Right now, we believe that the main area hit consisted of 2 businesses, though we know there were more businesses impacted. The first is Kentucky Petroleum Recycling. We are seeking more information, but it looks like they were hit pretty directly. The second is Grade A Auto Parts. Grade A has been in contact. They've accounted for all of their employees but 2, but they do not know how many other individuals, customers, or others could have been on site at the time. Because of the nature of these facilities, it may be some time before we can account for everyone or know that no one else was on the grounds. They're going to provide us with descriptions of the 2 missing employees soon. Again, there's no direct information about non-employees who were there at the time. The radius for the shelter in place has been adjusted. It is now anything north of the airport to the Ohio River. That includes, without limitation, South Louisville, Old Louisville, and downtown. LG&E had some equipment that has been damaged, but they're reporting no major outages at the time. They may, for safety purposes, have to have some outages. Please understand that if that's done, that's to protect you and the people working on it. I've been in direct contact with the CEO of Ford Motor Company. I can tell you that the Ford plant there was not hit, though it has lost power or did lose power for a period of time, but with the number of employees working there, that's a blessing. I've also been in touch with the head of security for the convention center, and everyone is sheltering in place that is there. They have stopped people coming in for the upcoming events for people's safety, and I know they'll be sending out additional information. Anybody who has seen the images and the video know how violent this crash is. And there are a lot of families that are going to be waiting and wondering for a period of time. We're going to try to get them that information as fast as we can, but if this is a family you know, please give them your support. Please give them your prayers. Please give them your love and be with them, because the toughest moments, and I can say it from personal experience, are when you're wondering whether that person that you know and you care about has survived something like this. We do not, at the moment, have the status of the crew. Watching that video, I think we're all very, very worried about them. I'm going to turn it over now to Julie Carr with the mayor's office. Let me say I've talked to the mayor 6 times since this has happened. He was out of town, which was completely scheduled. He is moving heaven and earth to be back, and he will be back. And from somebody who has been out of town when some of these things happened, let me tell you, he is completely and fully on top of it, in communication, and his crew behind me is responding as well as I've seen any group do. And trust me, I've sadly seen a lot of disasters, whether like this or through weather. So I'll turn it over to Julie Carr.
I'm Deputy Mayor Julie Carr. First and foremost, Mayor Greenberg has been in constant contact with those on the ground, emergency operations, Governor Beshear, and our federal partners. And he would like me to express that he and Rachel have the victims of today's crash in their hearts and prayers. He is asking the entire city of Louisville to join them in praying for the victims, their families, and our first responders, who bravely rushed to the scene to save people and are still actively working to put the fire out. Our hearts are with those affected by this tragic incident. The mayor's office is working closely with first responders, federal authorities, and emergency management teams to respond and secure the area. The mayor is traveling and is expected to be back in Louisville before 9 p.m. He will be here to update our city as more information becomes available. I'm now going to ask Jody Myman, Executive Director of Emergency Services, to give more of an update.
All right, we're going to hear from Jody in a second. I also have a statement from Representative Morgan McGarvey, who is in Washington, D.C. He says, tonight our community was rocked by a devastating plane crash at the Louisville airport. Representative McGarvey says, my heart breaks for the pilots, crew, and their families, and he's praying for everyone impacted. He's grateful for the bravery of our first responders as they continue their work throughout the night to respond quickly and heroically to this horrific incident. We still do not have complete details on how this tragedy occurred, but I've spoken with the chair of the National Transportation Safety Board and will continue to stay in contact with state, local, and federal authorities to get answers and do what we can to help all those affected. And I know your emergency management director is going to say the same thing, but the thing I left out is do not go to the crash site. You will put people in danger. You will put yourself in danger. There may be people that still need to be rescued. Do not be the reason that the first responders cannot get to them. There are still dangerous things that are flammable, that are potentially explosive at the site. Chief O'Neill was filling me in on that. All of his people and everybody else there are currently safe, but they are trained. The general public is not. So do not go to the site. Director?
Thank you, Governor. So we provided and are assisting currently with on-scene coordination between all the agencies. And initially, obviously everybody can see how big this site actually is. You're not only dealing with the aircraft itself, but you're dealing with several businesses that were affected. Some of those businesses have some issues and some hazards on them that we have to address as well. So establishing that incident management team and that initial unified command between all the agencies that you see standing behind me, as well as the ones that are on site. The Okolona Fire Department was the initial local fire department that was dispatched, and then the city of Louisville was dispatched very recently after that, after multiple calls started coming into our 911 center. But there's 3 phases of this response. It's life safety, it's incident stabilization, and it's property conservation. And we're still in the life safety step in that process. And what I mean by that is we're still going door to door in the area to make sure that every business, every facility, and there's a couple private residences, everybody's accounted for and everybody has evacuated that immediate area. Our shelter in place, we initially did that at a 5-mile radius because the wind was doing some things and pushing the smoke in different areas. And as hot as the fire was, it was kind of creating its own atmosphere and doing really what it wanted to do. So we're working to narrow that. You heard the governor already say that we've narrowed it a little bit, and we hope in the next couple of hours to narrow that as a little bit more. We started to provide initial air monitoring, very close and immediate on site. We continue that air monitoring now. We've got the 41st CST that's on site that's providing that. And they're also providing us some plume modeling that will give us the the opportunity, again, a little bit later in the shortcoming to be able to narrow that as well. Like the governor said, stay away from the area. You know, there's a lot of emergency response agencies there, not only from Jefferson County, but our surrounding counties. I can't thank the response enough. You know, but again, we're still in that life safety phase. Instant stabilization, they're doing that at the same time. Like I said, it's a very large area that's been affected by this, and they have to narrow that down and start to go into that area to make sure that they can identify all the future hazards that can present themselves during this emergency. The area that we've got isolated as far as traffic has been done by Louisville Metro Police and our Sheriff's Office. Again, so, you know, take a look at those, and please stay out of that. Please stay out of that area so it helps with our life safety and our incident stabilization. We'll continue this as long as we can. They have been able to make some headway on the fire to start to get in there. There were several explosions initially from the site itself, just by some of the hazards that were created by the facilities that it impacted. Like I said, we'll be on site. We'll provide more information as we get it through the night. Thank you.
Thank you. Paul Humphrey, Chief of Police, Louisville Metro Police. I will reiterate what the governor and Director Myman said. Please avoid the area and allow first responders to do the work to rescue, recover, and stabilize that scene. I will also say that in the meantime, before we can have a more formal update, please direct all of your attention to the social media of Louisville Emergency Management for any real-time updates. We will have a Family Reunification Center set up at the Louisville Metro Police Academy at 2911 Taylor Boulevard. There we'll have our Victim Services Unit that will be able to help any families get in contact with anyone they need. Again, please stay away from the area. Allow those first responders to do their job to make sure that that scene is as safe as possible. This will be an ongoing active scene for the next several days. We don't know how long it's going to take to render that scene safe for the investigation to take place. The NTSB will be the lead in the investigation, so as of right now, we will not be able to answer any questions related to the cause of this crash until the NTSB is able to give us more information. And with that, I will turn it over to the Senator.
Good evening, Chief Brian O'Neill, Louisville Fire Department. I want to reiterate, this happened in Okolona, and so I want to make sure we give credit to the fact that the Okolona Fire Department first on the scene, took command of the scene, and so we are there in support to help them and we've got units from the rest of the Jefferson County Fire Departments there, as well as surrounding counties. Obviously, the Airport Fire Department is a huge factor in this as well. We've also received assistance from some of the industry around here that has firefighting foam. That is absolutely necessary. As you heard, this was a UPS plane that was taking off, getting ready to go all the way to Honolulu, Hawaii. So we're talking about over 250,000 gallons of jet fuel that was on that plane. So we're talking about a very, very dangerous situation. The area that's affected on Grade Lane at Melton, and it's about a city block wide. You've got fuel recycling storage and some bulk fuel storage that's right there. You also have the auto parts area. There's a lot of issues that are going on with being able to surround and try to contain this fire. When I left the scene about 40 minutes ago, crews there were doing an amazing job. Again, all credit to the firefighters on the scene. They are doing incredible work, and they are containing this fire. Basically, you have to surround it. Where I was with some of our crews was on the north and west side, and you've got Okolona and other people that were leading the charge on that south side to try to just bring it in and bring it in and bring it in. But as I said, we're dealing with not only the initial fuel spill, but all the additional that was on site there. So it's going to be a little while. I've got to reiterate, I know you're going to be tired of hearing this, but you're going to keep hearing it. Try to be patient. Listen to emergency management for any updates. I know you might be eager to try to call to try to find out what's going on. I promise you, people are busy, people are working, they're doing everything they can to keep you safe. I want to address really quick the rest of the city. We have called in one of our off shifts. We have 3 different platoons of firefighters, so we've got off shift firefighters, the staff to back up. So rest assured, the entire city is still protected and still covered with plenty of fire safety, even though we have so many units that are down there south of the airport. So if there's any need for any other emergencies, you are covered, you are protected. Thank you.
Thank you. I am State Senator Katora Herron, and I represent
the 35th Senate District, and on behalf of the Kentucky Senate General Assembly, I want to acknowledge how jarring it is for the residents of Louisville and the surrounding areas to watch this tragedy hit so close to home, to happen in a place where many of us frequent on a regular basis, that many of us watch our family members and loved ones pass through on a regular basis, and to have to process this information and to know that there's been loss of lives. It's very hurtful. And my thoughts and prayers go out to the families that we know have been impacted, to the surrounding neighborhoods and communities. And I just want to urge our residents, as it's already been said, to be patient, to stay away from the scene, and to come together at this time of this tragedy. And I want to, again, thank the first responders, the ones that are still there on the scene, and we will make sure that we keep you all updated with additional information. And I will turn it over to Representative Lisa Wilner.
State Representative Lisa Wilner, representing House District 35, which goes all around the airport. This is a sad and heavy occasion. I am filled with gratitude and respect for the work of our first responders, for their courage, for their training, for their teamwork, for their bringing so many different units together on such short notice. I'm grateful to our governor for getting here so fast from Frankfurt. I just, my heart is with the families, all the community members who work for UPS, the folks who work at the airport and are there every day and are already under so much strain because of the government shutdown. This is a time for us as a community to come together. Once again, I am so proud to be a Louisvillian. We are a city of compassion. We are a city of love. I just want to ask that we keep one another in our prayers and our thoughts, that we extend kindness at every opportunity, and that we really use this opportunity to look out for our neighbors and to take care of ourselves and one another.
Okay, my name is Betsy Rui, and I represent Metro Council District 21, and the airport is in the heart of my district. And first, I would like to thank all the leadership of the first responders behind us and all the first responders out there in the field. This is what you all train for. I'm sad that we have to actually use all your training, but I'm glad that you have it. And my heart goes out to everybody at UPS, because this is a UPS town. My cousin's a UPS pilot. My aide's tennis partner is a UPS pilot. The intern in my office works overnight at UPS to pay for college. We all know somebody who works at UPS, and they're all texting their friends, their family, trying to make sure everyone is safe. Sadly, some of those texts are probably going to go unanswered. My heart goes out to those families and those friends. And thank you.
Yes.
I want to
All scary
acknowledge we
stuff.
also have our FBI special agent in charge with us today. Are grateful for her participation. With that, I'll open it up to questions, but a couple of things. I'm not going to speculate about the cause. That's for the NTSB to determine, and do not want to interfere in that in any way. And the other thing I'd say is we'll get more information on the numbers of fatalities. We'll get more information on the number of injuries. Know that information is fluid. I would tell you, after the tornado in Mayfield, I was standing outside of a factory where I was sure 100 people were dead. And we ended up only losing 13, and that's a lot of people. But pray. It works. It helps. Let's pray that the number of Kentuckians or any other folks that we lost stays as low as possible. With that, if you have questions, I'll do my best. I don't believe, yeah.
No, we can't hear any of
So
the.
we do not know of anybody that are trapped, but the units on scene, as I said, we're trying to surround and contain that. As we move in, we are searching every building, every area. And like Director Myman mentioned, all the buildings that are outside of that immediate hazard zone are being searched as well to make sure that those are clear and safe.
So it could just be a rumor about the people being
If you
trapped.
see the live images that thankfully emergency management can get, you see these heroic firefighters moving from building to building to building as fast as they can, because if somebody's trapped, they're going to get to them. Yeah.
Yeah, so right now it's from the airport, basically from the airport or right around the outer loop area north. If you live in Jefferson County and you're in that, I know that's a circle that's on the screen up there behind you guys, but you know, we're thinking anybody north of that, we hope to be able to narrow that down as accurate plume modeling is taking place, and it should be done now. So we may be able to reduce that even more, that footprint even more here just in the next couple of hours. Right now, that's it. The smoke, for the most part, is going up into the atmosphere and going north. We've also been in touch with our partners from Clark County, Indiana, because some of the smoke is going towards them as well. So they're making decisions. So if you live on the other side of the river, please make sure that you're paying attention. If there is any notifications that are going out over there, make sure you're paying attention to those as well.
And there's a lot of numbers we're getting from the fire chief. I think he said 220,000 gallons. It's 220,000 pounds, which is about 38,000 gallons. So he remembered those numbers a lot better than I would without them written down. All right, anybody else? Yeah.
This is crazy.
We've not received information we can confirm on their status. From the videos that I've seen, I'm very concerned for them. But again, I'm still praying. Because I've seen people make it out of things in these last 6 years that I didn't think were possible. We'll have more information soon, and we'll also want to make sure before we confirm anyone specific is deceased that we've talked to their family, who deserve to hear that information first. Yeah, we'll get that information out. Depending on how much news there is, we may be able to get it out on social media or release directly, but we'll work with our news partners, knowing that this is information that people want and need, and please direct any questions to us. But we don't currently have another one scheduled yet. We'd want to make sure we had enough information that came in to warrant it. So the airport is going to have their press conference here right when we're done, and are going to start addressing that. What I'd say, even with somebody who's supposed to have a flight here soon, is they should only do it when it's safe. And this is a great airport that I've used a lot. I trust their leadership, and I'll look forward to hearing what they have to say. All right, thank you all very much. And again, tough day for Louisville, tough day for Kentucky, tough day for this region. We are strong people. I've seen it time and time again, flooding, tornadoes, shootings. That's the last time I drove here this fast to make sure I got here. We've always banded together. We will again. Let's make sure before anything else, we put the families of those that are lost, the families of those that we're worried about first. They deserve it. Let's make sure we pray for them and we support them with everything we have. Thank you, Kentucky.
All right, guys. So,
and you've just been listening to Governor Andy Beshear giving an update on the fatal UPS plane that crashed at around 5:15 this evening at the Louisville airport. And we do want to let you know that United Way is offering shelter to anyone impacted.
Okay.
You can call 502-376-6617.
Okay. So you heard everything, guys. I mean, obviously, this is all very, very bad. There's a lot going on here. And, of course, there's going to be more information. There's going to be another press conference here in about 10 minutes. But unfortunately, I have to jump off here. Okay, guys, I would be here and watch the whole thing with y'all. But unfortunately, I got some things I got to take care of. So that is the show for now. But I appreciate you guys being here and being a part of the conversation. It really does mean a lot. All right. Before you head out, please do me a favor. Do me the solid. Hit that like button down below. Everything's tripping. This whole thing's tripping. So I can't do the hit that like button down below. But anyway, make sure you hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button, okay? Of course, don't forget to subscribe here on my main channel. Go to my second and third channel. The second channel is the Pascal Show Clips, and Pascal Raw is the third channel. Go check those things out. Subscribe while you're at it. Of course, let's not forget, just want to remind you guys, I do have pinned to the top of the chat and in the description box down below, I'm raising a little bit of money to get this live rig that I can take remotely anywhere in the world, basically, and cover things out there. So if you can contribute, that would really mean the world to me. Go check it out. Okay. You guys have been amazing so far, just doing what you've been doing, contributing. We're almost there. We are almost there, and it's amazing. So I appreciate all the support. A little bit goes a long way. So if you can contribute, that would be amazing. Thank you so much for the super chat. Okay. Thank you so much, Messy Ball. Good to know. Good to know. But anyway, guys, don't forget to hit that like button down below. Of course, if you want to support the channel just by supporting the channel, you can hit that join button down below and become a member. Check that out. All right. Go and check out all those things that I have. Check out PascalMerch.com. You can check out my Patreon, and I'll be talking to you guys very, very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.